have 50 minutes. 50 minutes for WandaVision number 9. The longest in the series. But is that going to be long enough? Part of me still feels like it should be one episode longer. But no, we are going to have to deal with 50 minutes, my friends. Now, does that mean there's going to be any more time for exposition and backstory? I doubt it. I really do. It seems like they have too much to fill us in on. Too many loose ends to grab and tie together. So therefore, I think that this is going to be one whole story in and of itself to end everything off. Well, at least end it as best as it can, since we know it's leading right into Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, the first thing I still maintain is that this is the real Fox Quicksilver. It is really him. He's really been brought over. And I've said that since he first appeared, and I'm still maintaining that with my dying breath until I see otherwise. And this is going to help solidify the fact that the Fox universe is part of the Marvel universe, which is why it's so important that no matter how his story ends, that he is the real Fox Quicksilver. Now, Vision. There's only two possible ways that this storyline can end for Victor Shade. Well, in the comic books, he's used that as his identity. No, seriously, there's only two ways that the story will end for Vision. The first one is the one I most predict, and it's the least of the two I want to happen. Vision will die again. He will die a third time. He will die a third time in front of Wanda. But he will do so on his own terms, defeating Anti-Vision. White Vision. I call him Anti-Vision because there was an Anti-Vision. Had a whitish, goldish color to him, who is from an alternate reality, who was an enemy of the Avengers and a part of a team called the Gatherers. But that's another long, in-depth story I'm not going to get into right here at the moment, but that's why I'm calling him Anti-Vision. But yes, so Vision will have to sacrifice himself to destroy this abomination, which I still feel if Hayward used Vision's original body, which we all think, pretty much know he did, that there's an Ultron code hidden somewhere in there. Because as I've said before, if you look at the comic books, every single creature, mechanical being, android, synthezoid that Ultron has made, he has left a code inside it for him to be rebuilt. So for Ultron not to come back to this world, Vision will have to sacrifice himself, destroying Anti-Vision. Now, I said there's two possibilities. The second one is the one I most hope for, but don't think it's really going to happen. And that is a gestalt, a joining, a combining of the two, the Vision and the Anti-Vision. Maybe through a combination of his phasing ability with the Hex magic. That would be the ending I would love, to see Vision back in the MCU. And that's the only way they could do it. So those are the only two ways that the story is going to end for Vision. Now let's take a moment and re-examine Doctor Strange in his first movie. The Ancient One was kept alive. Her extreme longevity was only due to the fact that she was siphoning off small amounts of dark energy. Dark energy from Dormammu's realm, which we see is the same coloration, the same almost visual texture, if you will, that Agatha uses. And we know that she is a few hundred years old as well. So according to what we've been given information-wise so far through Doctor Strange, she's only doing that by using the dark energy. But that's not the only energy that we have seen associated with Agatha. Stop. Think about it. The book. The book in her basement, which may be the Darkhold. Some people, even I, have said maybe it's the Necronomicon or one of the iron-bound books of Shumagarath. But whatever it is, it does not give off the dark energy. It is giving off the red energy, which we have now been pretty much told flat out is a sign of chaos magic. Why is there chaos magic in this book? Because Agatha, in the book, and whoever's behind her, Nightmare have been feeding off of the chaos magic, just like the Yo Magic commercial said. And that is why the book is giving off red energy, because it, Agatha, they, whoever, whatever, has been siphoning magic every time Wanda. I almost said Scarlet Witch. Yes, she is Scarlet Witch, but it's not her title yet. She was just given it. It's weird. But okay, but you know what I mean. So she has been unknowingly giving bits and pieces of chaos magic away. It's been sucked, siphoned, stolen from her. And we know where it is. It's in the book. But I also think that it's in Nightmare. Maybe also Agatha. But hold on a second. Now let's just think about this ending battle. So we've already seen, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I'll try to find it and put it up now. I hope I found it. There is a publicity picture of Vision, Wanda, and the kids standing ready for battle. How can Agatha win? How is this even a fight? How is this anything less than a fly versus a tank? I mean, just Wanda alone established that she can create anything. She is creating reality itself within the Hex. How could Agatha beat her? And on top of that, you got a super speedster kid. You have another kid with maybe lowered down version, but still his mother's Scarlet Witch powers. And then you have Vision, who can control his density among so many other things. What chance would Agatha have? This would be over. The only way Agatha will be able to put up a fight is if this stolen energy, this stolen chaos magic that we've seen pouring out of her dark book, Darkhold, is used against Wanda. That Agatha will start using that stolen red chaos magic to stand a chance in this fight. Okay, now we've also all been wondering. Some of us think we know. Some of us don't think we know. Others don't know what we think. But we all have been wondering about Ralph, Agatha's husband, as well as Senor Scratchy. They're one and the same. They are. Senor Scratchy is not a rabbit. It is more than likely Ralph. But who's Ralph? I'm not the first one to say this, but I've agreed with it ever since the thought crossed my mind. Ralph is Nightmare. There's been so many references to dreams and nightmares so far in this series. It is more than chance. It is a hint. A series of hints. Yes, he is Nightmare, Senor Scratchy, Ralph. All three are the same being. Ralph, Senor Scratchy, Nightmare is being set up here, now, as the main villain for the Doctor Strange sequel. With the chaos magic, I believe it's not only Agatha that's being empowered by it, but also Nightmare. Because as I said, although the end effect is different, I had predicted several videos ago that not only Nightmare being the ultimate bad in this, but because he is starving. He is starving to death after the snap. Literally half of all his food, his intake, his sustenance was taken off the plate for 5 years. So this is all part of his plan, and he is being set up for Doctor Strange. Now, we also know that it's been said that there is a Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill level guest appearance in the final episode, and we've all been trying to figure out who that is. You, me, you, over there, him. We've all been trying to figure this out. And I have had my predictions. Everything from Professor X and Magneto, all the way to not being Al Pacino. But what if they already told us who that is? Not only is this going to be a Mark Hamill level cameo, it is going to be a Mark Hamill cameo as Nightmare. Oh yes, I have said it before and I still maintain it. Nothing has changed that I have seen, watching, rewatching, and re-rewatching the show. Nothing has changed for me listening to what other people think. It is still on my mind. They have already told us who it's going to be. Mark Hamill is going to be Nightmare. And is anyone even in doubt right now that Doctor Strange will make an appearance in this last episode? Everyone's talking about it, but what I disagree with is so many people talking about Wong being there. Wong is not going to be there for one simple reason. As we found out in Infinity War, he cannot leave the sanctum unguarded. There must be someone to guard the sanctum, and if Doctor Strange is going to head out for this problem, Wong is going to have to stay behind to defend said sanctum. So no, we won't see Wong. We'll see Doc, but no Wong. Now, I've been thinking about this whole energy field. I've been thinking about what's going on, Nightmare, and all of this connected to Doctor Strange, who has said that it is his job to keep tabs on any and every extra-dimensional or magical creature that could possibly be harmful to this realm. So I've been wondering why he didn't detect the field. But I think the answer is what Agatha said. She did not detect it until she was near it, until she was going by it, and that's when she detected it. So if that's why Doctor Strange has not detected this chaos magic, it would also mean that, like Agatha, he won't detect it unless he's by it. No, I don't think he's just going to happenstance drive by Jersey and go, whoa, what's that going on? No, that's too lazy and simple. Why don't we go back to another idea I had? That the Hex field is going to surround the Earth. If that happens, there is absolutely, positively no way that Doctor Strange would not notice this. If he doesn't, he needs to give up his day job. So that is how Doctor Strange is going to get involved. This field is going to grow exponentially to the point where Doctor Strange cannot not detect it. And we're going to see Doctor Strange. But I don't think he's coming in early in the series. That seems too much of a MacGuffin to help everything. He is going to be near the end of the episode. Not the end scene, not the end credits or mid-credits scene. He will appear before that. But still, I'm guessing the last 10 minutes is when we're going to see Doc enter this. Because this is going to be too much for him to come in early and be like, okay, boom, I fixed everything. That is so anticlimactic. No, they're not going that route. We'll see him in the last 10 minutes. But now, because of this field, this Hex field enveloping the Earth, and the battle that's going to ensue with Agatha and or Nightmare stealing chaos magic, and Wanda having chaos magic in this Hex field, swallowed up by the Earth, I'm getting so excited, swallowing up the Earth, that is how the multiverse is gonna snap. It's gonna break. It's gonna break big time. Now, I am thinking something I didn't think last time, and that's about the X-Men and how they're gonna fit into the MCU. So check this out. What if Marvel is beating DC to the punch? I'm not talking about the Arrowverse television show. I'm talking about the movies. What do you mean? What do I mean? Okay, let me explain. DC did a title called Crisis on Infinite Earths. And the reason they originally did this, at least one of the reasons, was because they had too many multiverses. And they wanted to consolidate things. And that's why they did that series. Of course, it caused more problems and they had to redo it and redo it and redo it. But my point is, they did it. They are the ones who are really officially known for doing that. I think Marvel is beating them to the punch. I think Marvel is going to use this show, the Hex field surrounding the Earth, the chaos magic battle. I think they're going to use that to pull their own Crisis on Infinite Earths, in the sense that by the end of this, we are going to see a melding, a gestalt of the multiverse. We are going to see that this is how things are going to be incorporated with the X-Men universe. They are going to bring them in a way saying they were always here because now Wanda has retconned reality. That's the best way to get them in. Because we have some major problems here. Think about Wolverine, for example. The fans would go berserk if Marvel decided to change his origin, that he wasn't hundreds of years old, that he didn't live through the Wild West and World War I and World War II and Vietnam and Korea and blah, 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 blah. So the only way that you can really establish Wolverine being so old, or someone like Apocalypse, is by saying they were always here, but they were never here because they weren't here. But now we have Crisis Infinite Earth, everything together. Huh? I mean, how else are they going to introduce mutants who are older than the MCU? I also think that this expanding hex field will also trigger mutant abilities. I think that might be a possibility as well, but it still wouldn't answer the question of people like Apocalypse or Wolverine or any of the other ancient mutants. So the only way that can be appeased is by saying they were already here. Even though they weren't here, but they are always here now because we put the worlds together. How else can they do it? And I still maintain, I said this before, and I still maintain, Tommy and Billy are gone. They are not going to be seen at the end of this episode. They will fade away with the rest of the effects of the hex field. But fear not, they will return much as they did in the comics. This is the same exact thing that happened, well, except they were babies when it happened. But it's the same thing. And this gives an opportunity to bring them back at a time when it's most needed. Young Avengers. Just like the comic book. I think that's a brilliant way for them to handle it, and I do think it's going to happen. So that means that I think that, although there's a chance Vision could gestalt and become a new Vision with anti-Vision, you know, my main theory is that he's going to die, sacrifice himself. And that also means that Wanda is going to have to see her children disappear. She is going to have another snap in this episode. And by the end of it, she's going to have to be under the care of Doctor Strange. I mean, care in every single way, practically. He is going to have to help heal her emotionally as well as teach her the understandings of magic. She is going to become an apprentice to him. She was an apprentice of Agatha in the comics, but obviously that's not going to happen because Marvel is doing a considerable disservice to the character of Agatha Harkness by making her strictly a villain. So therefore she's going to need a new tutor, mentor, advisor. And who else but Doctor Strange? And it's funny enough because she's lost her brother and Doctor Strange has lost his sister. So maybe there's a little bit of a tie, a bond will form with them over that as well. And that's essentially where the episode is going to end. Now, I don't know what order any of my ideas are going to happen in except this. That will be the end. That the last 10 minutes of the show, Doctor Strange is going to appear. He's going to show up. He's going to help the situation. And at the end of it, no more Vision, no more kids, and Wanda leaves with Doctor Strange, which of course is leading into Multiverse of Madness. Now, I know last episode that I did of this, I said that I had absolutely no idea what could possibly be happening to Darcy or Wu. Well, now I can tell you for sure, I still have no idea where their storylines are going. None whatsoever. But Hayward, I maintain, unlike so many others, I do not think he will end up being a Skrull. Again, as I've said before, I think he's simply just a tool. Now, after the episode ends, we have at least an end scene credit. I've heard rumors that there's a mid-scene credit as well, which makes a lot of sense to me, and I think that's the way it's going to go. I think there's going to be a mid-credit and an end. And if that is the case, that we're getting two of them, well, I think the mid-credit scene will be Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange setting up the movie. And then I think if that's the mid-credit scene, that the end-credit scene is going to be Nightmare. Maybe even Agatha and nightmare, since they seem determined to keep her a villain. And we're going to see through them, we're going to get an even bigger hint as to what's going on for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Now, there is another possibility that an end credit scene could hint at, though. We know from pictures we've seen that were officially dropped that Falcon and the Winter Soldier seems to be having at least some episodes set in Madripoor. So that makes me think that the end credit scene could be something more hinting towards further Phase 4 and not just back directly to Doctor Strange. And if that's the case, we will probably end up seeing some sort of sign that there are mutants there. Because it seems silly to me that with Wanda breaking reality, with Marvel doing the best story they can to try to piece together the Fox and the Marvel, the mutants and the Avengers, and their worlds becoming one, that this is one of the ways that they can probably do it best. So what do you think? You think I'm nuts? You think my ideas are folly? That's fine. They're just ideas. I don't take offense. But why don't you put yours down in the bottom and let me know yours? Because, hey, your ideas might influence mine. Well, anyway, let's get ready to watch episode 9. It's going to be awesome no matter what happens, no matter who is right or wrong. It's going to be a wild ride, my friends. Maybe I'll do a post-Wanda episode. What do you think of that? All right, thank you very much, everyone. I'm your buddy Big John at G, and I am crazy for Marvel.